breaking news that has come out, which is that a federal judge, has blocked the, what's been talked about pretty controversially, the Texas heartbeat law.
103-page order striking down the heartbeat bill that was put in place by the Texas legislature that protected fetal life, now the unborn child's life. Now, what's interesting about this case, signed into law on May 19th, 2021, and then it was immediately challenged. But as you recall, on September 1st, just a couple weeks ago, the Supreme Court denied in a 5-4 application a stay of the injunctive relief and let it stay in effect. So then what happened was Planned Parenthood went back to the U.S. District Court judge and said, hey, basically, we think the Supreme Court, didn't address this properly. You address it properly.
The judge who authored this opinion is an Obama appointee. He's got an agenda. I read this opinion this morning. It's 113 pages long. And one of the things that disturbed me very much in the opinion is he says other courts may disagree, but this court will not sanction a woman's right not to have an abortion when she wants to under these circumstances. Well, I ask myself, who are these other courts? Perhaps you're referring, Judge Pittman, to the Supreme Court of the United States that denied a stay. Don't you realize you are an inferior judicial tribunal?
Talk about what this heartbeat bill does in Texas.
The heartbeat bill in Texas basically banned abortions after a heartbeat is detected. And of course, Planned Parenthood is up in arms against that because they fight against things, even if you want sterile operating conditions, they fight against that. So of course, they're going to fight against banning abortions when a heartbeat is detected. The issue is a little bit different because instead of the state enforcing this law, this Texas law gave the enforcement arm to individuals. So they can come against a doctor who performs abortion after a heartbeat is detected or anybody who helps and aids in that abortion. So that's where we landed in this case. Of who are you going to actually enjoin? And this district judge, decided that he was going to hand down an injunction, and he was going to enjoin actually the state courts and the state clerks from enforcing this law.
If you don't think elections have consequences, this suit brought by Planned Parenthood, guess who was engaged in it now? The United States Department of Justice. So in an election, Andy, things change. And now you got the Justice Department taking its resources to defend, as if Planned Parenthood doesn't have enough resources and can't defend itself to defend.
I find it ironic, Jay, that the United States Department of Justice under this administration, under Biden, has taken up exactly the opposite approach that the administration took up under President Trump, but has to help this Planned Parenthood, poor Planned Parenthood. They don't have the resources. They don't have the ability. They don't have the lawyers to be able to do this. Nonsense. They have all that.
In everything we did, believe that protecting every human life, treating every human being with the dignity they deserve because they are made in the image of a creator was important. It was important as a domestic matter to make sure we supported states who were trying to get their laws right. You see this in Dobbs. You see what Texas is doing. We did it around the world. We made sure that your taxpayer dollars, the American people's money, didn't go to supporting groups that were referring to abortion or funding abortion. And your point's well taken. Within a few weeks of taking office, the Biden administration turned this all on its head and now is probably the most pro-abortion administration that we have seen in at least 30 or 40 years. So certainly in the post-Roe time frame.
A heartbeat is indicative that there is a human life. When a person's heart stops beating, they are declared dead. This heartbeat means there is life. And there's a reason, Jay, that 30 states have fetal homicide laws on the books so that if a pregnant woman is killed, the person who killed her can be charged with 2 counts of murder or 2 counts of manslaughter. And there's a reason for that. It's an obvious reason, and that is it is a living human being. It's not just a blob of tissue.
It's plain and simple murder. You've got a heartbeat. What's the difference if he's walking outside the womb or walking inside or stationary inside? You've got a heartbeat, you've got a human being, and you're killing it. To me, it's simply straightforward a case of malice murder.
The fact that a precedent is on the books doesn't mean that precedent is right. I can think about Plessy versus Ferguson and separate but equal. Dred Scott, Black Americans were not entitled to be recognized as full American. They were 3/5 for counting purposes and for even for census. I mean, it was these are the just Karamatsu where the Japanese Americans were interred. So this idea that it's the court's already decided that that's it. It's just not constitutional history.
The fact that there may be law currently outstanding created by the courts doesn't mean that that law is correct. I tend to agree entirely with Justice Thomas, who has said time and again, find me in the Constitution of the United States where it says someone has a right to an abortion. Well, you're going to look in vain in the Constitution of the United States to find that because it doesn't exist.
Just one change of an election. You've now got the administration, the Biden administration, suing to declare this law. They don't think Planned Parenthood could do this by themselves. They have to have the United States enter these cases now.